During our live stream of What's New in SOLIDWORKS 2019, we saw that eDrawings had an awesome new feature coming soon, SOLIDWORKS models in VR. However, that functionality was not quite ready at release, but this year in January, SOLIDWORKS released Service Pack 1 with this new function. Today, I'll show you how to use this new feature with a couple of different examples of it in use. Currently, this function still is in beta and only works on Windows 10 with the HTC Vive and SOLIDWORKS partner assembly file types. Support for other hardware like the HoloLens and Oculus is going to come later. But speaking of hardware, I'm using this on my home desktop with a GTX 1080 and 16 gigabytes of memory. Once you have eDrawings Service Pack 1 installed, you'll want to take a look at the release notes to find out how to enable to use this option, as it's not on by default. You can see here that I've already added this environment variable and I'm ready to go. Before I open a model, I'll need to make sure that my Vive is running. Now in eDrawings, we're ready to go and open a model. From the file menu, you can see that there's a new option to open in VR. I'll go ahead and open a model that I prepared earlier. eDrawings is going to utilize all of the appearances assigned with SOLIDWORKS, so you'll want to set them for the best possible experience. In the bottom left corner, there's some options for VR, and you can reset the view, change your environment and lighting conditions, or view instructions on how to manipulate the model. To start VR, I'll simply click the play button. Now I can put on my headset.
All right. Okay, so what we got is a model that I've designed in VR here. And what I can see is a one-to-one view of my car. And you can see here with the controller that's in my hand, I can teleport around just by touching it here. So if I click, I can teleport around the scene. So I can take a look at the back and maybe kind of get down here and look at the wheels. But what I'm seeing here is a one-to-one view of the model, and the model seems pretty correct as far as scale. Might seem a little bit small, but it feels size-wise about right. I can also pick up some parts if I use the trigger on my controller, and I can change the size and go all the way to actually I guess a little bit bigger than one-to-one. But I can also rotate the model here and kind of zoom in and take a look at some of the detail of the model, which is very handy. And then once I let go of the trigger, the model just goes right back into place. So, you know, any one of these parts we can kind of move off. So if we wanted to, you know, break this down, I can just place a part over here and, you know, examine other areas of the model. And then whenever you want to put them back, you just click on them and then go back into place.
Okay, let's take a look at one more example. This one is my simulation rig that I've designed.
And the goal behind this one is to take a look at size. I've got my office room modeled here, so I can see roughly, you know, how big the model is in relation to my room. The one thing that I did do to compensate here, because I don't have my actual racing seat, I have raised the simulation assembly up a little bit higher in order to match the chair that I have here in the room. So I actually can set my controller down and I can see that the position of my chair is exactly where it is in VR. So I can actually come over here and have a seat and take a look at how this feels. So in VR here, I can feel my seat in the right spot. And if I kind of hold my hand up here next to the wheel, I can actually see the exact position of where my hand is going to be in reality once I get this assembly built. The one thing I am noticing though is that seems like the pedals might be a little bit too high, or my seat is too low. Of course, that's all subjective, and the assembly will be adjustable, so that should be okay, but I do want to make sure that I've got enough height here on some of these components so I'll have enough adjustability once I actually get these cut.
All right, that was pretty cool. With VR, I can see the scale of objects exactly as they appear in the real world. And as you saw with the simulator model, I found that the pedal position was a little bit too high, so I'll need to make some changes in order to order the correct lengths of the 80/20 tubing. With the help of eDrawings and VR, this is just one more way that you can shorten that development cycle by making informed decisions earlier in that development phase without having to build expensive prototypes or making the mistake of going to production too early. As always, if you have any questions about SOLIDWORKS or VR and eDrawings, give Computer Aided Technology a call. We'll help you get the answers that you need. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you next time.